Hello learners, I welcome you all to this session. This is in fact the remaining part of the chapter consumer behavior or buyer behavior. So in the previous sessions we have seen first part of consumer or buyer behavior. In this session the remaining part will be covered. So in the previous session we have discussed that there are various factors that influence consumer behavior, and those factors were cultural, social, personal and psychological factors. And besides we have also seen the various kinds of differences between organizational customers and individual customers, and in individual customers also we could see the difference between the customer, the buyer and the consumer. Now in this session we are going to discuss the various kinds of buying roles that different people play. When a purchase decision is made, when a purchase happens, there are certain people which influence or which make that purchase happen. So we will discuss that buying roles, and then we will also talk about buying decision process. We will talk of social media influence on buying decisions, and then we will talk of buying motives and types of buying decision behavior. So as I said, when you make a purchase or when a purchase happen, there are group of people who make this happen or who influence this. So who are the group of people? They can be categorized into initiators, influencers, deciders, buyers and consumers. So there is someone who initiates. So there may be a need felt, whosoever is the customer is, there may be a need felt, but somebody is there who is pushing it forward, that yes you need it. For instance, suppose you are having a cup of coffee with your neighbor, and you are discussing that it's getting difficult for you to commute to your office every day, and it's a long distance, and over the discussion say for example the neighbor is telling you that it is better if you buy a car and commute by your car, because that will make your commute easier. So your idea, your need has been pushed by someone, and the person who is pushing is initiator. This initiator can be your neighbor, can be your family friend, can be your peer group, your colleague, anybody, or maybe your family members, your own family members, they can act as initiator. And then is influencer. So somebody who influences, you discussed it with the neighbor pushed it, initiated it, and after that when you are discussing it with your family members, your spouse also says that yes, it is better if we need a car, because even if we go out somewhere we need a car for family outing. So your decision is now being influenced, right? There was a need felt, it was pushed, and now it is being influenced. Your spouse may influence, your kids may influence, so it is influenced. And then the decider decides. You sit together in the family, you decide what to buy, which car to buy, what should be the budget, etc. And then you also discuss it with the other people outside the family. I am just giving an example. This can happen in various other ways, and so you are also discussing it with other people, with your friends, maybe your colleagues you are discussing, and then you actually buy. Then the buyer is buying, and once you buy, until now, unless you bought it, you were only working for it, and you are only perceiving that there is an intense need which should be satisfied, and to satisfy that need you have to buy a car. The moment you buy it and you start consuming it, you become the consumer, right? And then the real picture comes, and then you actually realize, as a consumer you realize whether it is actually satisfying your need or not, whether the commodity has utility in it or not. So this is this stage when you decide the utility of the commodity that you have bought. So likewise, if we see, there are certain steps which are taken when a consumer or customer is buying a particular product. So what are those steps? The first step is need recognition. That means you perceive a need, that yes, there is a need. Once a need is perceived, how it is perceived? The initiator initiates it, then influencer influences, and then you decide that yes, this need should be satisfied and I should work on it, right? So you are perceiving a need. Then the second step is information search. Now you start looking for options that can fulfill your need, that have utility to fulfill your need, or that have values to fulfill your need. That is why it is also called as seeking value. Now you are seeking value in the market, whether there is some offering in the market or not. And then the third step is alternate evaluation. What are the various alternates that are available in the market? You start evaluating it, assessing it, and then you buy it. Then you make purchase decision. Then you are, what you are going to do, you are going to buy the value of the offering. And once you buy it, then you are making it in use, that is value in use, and consuming it, and then comes your post purchase behavior. Either you are dissatisfied or you are satisfied or you are delighted, right. Now let us discuss one by one in detail all these steps. So the first step in buying process was need recognition. This is the first stage, as I said. First of all, you have to recognize that there is a need, or there should be an intense need. See, there are many needs, they are competing with each other. We have limited resources and needs are unlimited. So we cannot satisfy all our needs. So we have to make a choice. It is a science of choice, that is why we say, right. So we have to make a choice. We cannot satisfy all our needs. So then we need to see what is the intense need. If the need is intense, you will start working on it, and if the need is not intense, maybe you can postpone it for later, or maybe you can defer your decision to buy that particular commodity. So at this step, first of all, there should be a need felt. That need felt should be intense, so much so that it gives you motive to buy, right. And then need may be activated through various stimuli also. First, as I said, it can be from your inner self, it can be from the felt need that you are feeling it, but there are other stimuli also which influences or which tells you that this particular need is, and these stimuli can be marketing stimuli and other stimuli. It is also considered as external stimuli and internal stimuli. External stimuli, which is not related to your organization or which is not in your hand as a company, right, and the external stimuli is vested with the customers. And then what is in this stage, the attractive marketing mix is made so that it can stimulate need of the customer, right. What are the various stimuli? As I said, there can be marketing stimuli, there can be other stimuli, or internal stimuli and external stimuli. So the external stimuli, which we have already discussed, personal factors, psychological factors, social factors and cultural factors, right. These are the factors which influences a buyer decision of buying a commodity, whether to buy or not to buy. It is affected by these 4 factors: personal, psychological, social and cultural. We have already discussed this in the previous session. So the other stimuli are marketing stimuli, that is product, price, promotion and place, marketing mix for tangible commodities. And if your commodity is such that it is it's some element of intangibility is also there, or maybe your offering is intangible entirely in nature, then your marketing mix comprises of 7 P's and 3 P's gets added to it: people, process and physical evidence, right. So maybe you design your product in a way, the product is so attractive that it stimulates the buyer to buy it, or maybe your prices are very competitive, it is alluring customers to come and buy, or maybe your promotional campaign was such that customers could actually connect it and they want to buy, and so on and so forth. So you can work on all those marketing mix. You are preparing your marketing mix in such a way that the customer is kind of stimulated to buy your offering in the market. Likewise, like product, price and promotion place, suppose your the people in your organization who are working, the sales people who are working with the organization, sometimes they are so efficient that they make the customers feel need for a particular offering that they are offering. So even the efficiency of the people also works as stimuli to make some purchase to happen. The second step is information search. When the need is aroused, there is already an intense need, and now you want to fulfill that particular need, you want to satisfy that particular need as a customer. Then the second stage starts, that you start looking for various kinds of values, you start looking for various kinds of offerings that are there in the market, so that your need can be satisfied, or it can solve your problem. So if the consumer's drive is strong and a satisfying product is near at hand, the consumer is likely to buy it then. Suppose I have a strong need, and maybe next door in the next door shop that particular offering is available which can satisfy my need, I can buy it then and there. But if not, then the consumer may simply store the need in memory or undertake an information search related to the need. Impulsively, I have gone somewhere, I am very thirsty, and at the next step there is a shop which is offering which is selling water, bottled water, I will go and buy it, fine. But suppose the need is such, the problem is such, the demand is such that it is not immediately available, then you take some time to decide. You start looking for various alternatives. So, first of all, what do? You try to list down various alternatives which are available, which can satisfy your need. And for that you need to have information, and the information can be obtained from several sources. They may be personal sources, they may be commercial sources, they may be public sources, they may be experiential sources. So, personal sources may be family, friends, neighbors and acquaintances, as I said, anybody who is around you, with whom you interact throughout the day, right. And then the commercial sources such as advertising, salespeople, dealers, packaging, displays, public sources such as mass media, consumer rating organizations, and experiential sources such as handling and examining the user or examining or using the product. You are touching a product or you are seeing a product and you are attracted towards it, and now you want to buy it. So, that is called experiential sources. So, in this step what we are doing, you are trying to collect certain kinds of information, various information that can help you to decide, number one, whether to go for that particular offering or not, and if yes, then how to go about it, right. The third step is, evaluation of all the alternatives which are available in the market. You have listed out in the second stage or step, you have already listed down the various alternatives which is available in the market. Now, in this step what do? You start evaluating those. You start assessing the values which are being, offered by various companies through their brands. You start evaluating it, you start assessing it, you start calculating or counting their pluses and minuses, their advantages and disadvantages, right. So, evaluation of the attributes or features of product of different brands that you do. For example, a product like tea has certain common attributes such as taste, flavor, strength, aroma, color, number of cups per packet, price, etc. So, you start evaluating on all those aspects, or maybe you have evaluation of a set of characteristics of the product and brands such as the quality. You start evaluating the quality of various brands, you start comparing one brand with the other. So, you are evaluating the qualities of various offerings, the prices of various offerings, the distinctiveness which is available, and then evaluation of brand images and brand concepts also, that you do. And once you start doing all such things, what you are doing, you are eliminating in the process, you are striking out that this particular offering or brand is no, because this has this limitation. So, you narrow down your list of available alternatives. You strike out some of the offerings and you are there with some of the alternatives, right. So, you reduce the number of alternatives based on certain criteria, and now of the reduced number, then you have to make choice which one to buy or which one to purchase, right. Occasionally consumers may use an evaluation process permitting trade-offs among different alternatives. Sometimes you negotiate also on the basis of the evaluation that you have done. On the basis of that, maybe you start negotiating with different kinds of brands, right. And then that is why it is said that this is a very critical stage in buying process, because this is the stage which decides whether the customer will buy your commodity or not, or your offering or not, right. So, that is why it is a very, very critical stage. Needless to mention that social media has a great influence on this, In fact, in the entire thing, right from the arising of need, right from the feeling of need, the social media has an influence, right. Social media is acting as an important factor, and it is gaining greater importance day by day. Why? Because you can get all the reviews very quickly, right. On the social media, your friends, they are using it and then they quickly post their views and so on and so forth. So, social media is also influencing the buying decision, especially at this stage, especially at this step. The social media has a great impact, on the choice that the customer is going to make. So, it is very, very important now for the companies, for the marketers, that they has to be visible online also, and not only visible, they have to be prominently visible online, right. And then the next stage is purchase decision. Now, you felt that need, you started looking for all the alternatives which are available in the market, then you evaluated all the alternatives which are available in the market. Now you have to decide, of several alternatives, which one are you going to buy, which is the brand, which is the offering, which is the company you are going to choose, to satisfy your need. So the stage in which customer is actually buying the product is called the purchase decision stage or step. The customer decides here whether he or she wants to buy or does not want to buy, and if yes, so what, where, when and how to buy. The purchase decision may be influenced by attitudes of spouse, friends and relatives, cost of the product, benefits of the products, etc. So even at this stage your decision is influenced, and purchase decision includes decisions with regard to product, brand, dealer, quantity, quality, timing and payment. So at this stage you were deciding whether to buy or not to buy. If not to buy, well and good. If you may want to postpone it, considering certain aspects you may want to postpone it or defer your purchase decision. But if the answer is yes, that you want to buy it, then you have to decide what to buy, from where to buy, which is the company you would rely on and how to buy it. And then comes the last step in this is post purchase behavior. So until this step, everything was perceived, you were just thinking, need was there and you thought that a particular commodity you perceive that a particular commodity or offering can deliver the value which can satisfy your need. But now this is the stage that you have actually made the purchase decision, you have purchased it and now you are consuming it. Now this stage is very, very critical for the marketers, for the companies. Why is very critical? Because this stage is the kind of period or stage of result. The marketers, the companies are getting results because the customers they have already consumed it or they are already consuming it. So now the perceived value is converted into actual value. So what they perceived and what they got, on the basis of that, on the comparison of that, they can either be unsatisfied customer, they perceived the value like this, but what they got was this lesser, right? So unsatisfied customer, they perceived the value and they received the same value, right? So this is satisfied customer, so this may result in satisfied customer, and they perceived something, they perceived that they will get this value, but what they actually experienced or when they consumed, what they actually realized that they have got this value. So in this case the customer is happy, the customer is delighted, and having delighted customers is the aim of each and every marketer, each and every company who is a profit making company, right? And even if not profit making company, then also having delighted customer is the ultimate aim, is the ultimate goal of the organization. Now up till now we have seen that there were certain stages or there were certain steps which are followed when the customer is going to make purchase decision. Now we will see what are the various types of buying decision behavior that the customer shows or portrays, right? So buying decision behavior is different for different types of offering. For example, buying a toothpaste and buying a car. So the way you buy a toothpaste is different than the way you are going to buy a car. There will be a lot of difference. So on the basis of that, or considering all these factors, we can classify the buying decision behavior into 4 categories. One is complex buying behavior, the other is dissonance reducing buying behavior, third is variety seeking buying behavior, and fourth is habitual buying behavior. Complex buying behavior. When buyers are buying an expensive commodity or infrequently bought commodities or products, right, then the behavior that they will show will be called as complex buying behavior. Why? Because in buying this kind of commodity which are expensive, which are not frequently bought, the buyers are highly involved. And highly involved, when I say highly involved, it means they are highly involved in the whole purchase process, and they do a lot of researches before buying such products. So on the basis of they think n number of times, and they need a lot of information, so they spend quite some time in researching for that particular commodity. So that is why the commodities which are expensive or which is infrequently bought, for example you are going to buy a car or maybe you are going to buy a house, then in that case the kind of behavior that you show as a customer is complex buying behavior. The second is dissonance reducing buying behavior. when buyers are highly involved in the purchase decision but has difficulties determining the differences between brands, right. The commodities are expensive, so you are going to make a heavy investment in that, right. But at the same time, the offerings that are there in the market, the alternatives that are there in the market, they are so close to each other that you are finding it difficult to decide which one to choose. So in that case, the kind of behavior that you show as a customer is called as dissonance reducing buying behavior, because whenever you are making a decision, you are worried all the time whether you are going to regret after purchase or you will be happy. So the buyer here itself is so they are so confused, that again they sometimes, even while making the purchase decision, they do kinds of researches again and again, right. So for example, when you are going to choose between expensive mobile phones, so the mobile phones which is expensive, and there are certain companies, brands which are offering you the same kind of quality, appearance and services and apps, whatever you want in the mobile phone, and it is so close to each other, the competitive products are so close to each other that you are getting confused, right. So you take even more time. So that is why it is called as dissonance reducing buying behavior. And then comes habitual buying behavior. There are certain kinds of commodities for which you don't make you don't take much time in picking that up, that are in your regular use. So you have a habit of going and picking those commodities. So every such commodity is called as habitual, or when you are going to buy such kind of commodity, then you are showing habitual buying behavior. So in this kind of situation, buyers have very little involvement in such products. They have their set of preferences, and on the basis of those preferences, they just pick the commodities and fill their baskets. They are frequently bought products. They are used, you buy it frequently. They are recurring products. For example, when you are going to go for grocery shopping, you don't think much. The toothpaste that you buy every time, you will pick up the same toothpaste without giving a second thought, right. If you are buying, for example, you are buying toothpaste, or you are in fact going to buy tea leaf, in that case also you have a habit, you have a taste which is developed. So without giving much time to it, you will put those commodities, you will pick those commodities and you will buy it. So when you are showing this kind of behavior, this kind of pattern, it is called as habitual buying behavior. And then comes variety seeking buying behavior. There are certain commodities and services, in which the customer seeks varieties. It is not that they are satisfied with one variety or not satisfied with one variety. It is just that they want to change. They want to switch the brand just to experience the difference, or maybe just to experience the variety. So in this case, the consumer is showing variety seeking buying behavior. Again, I would say that it is not because that they are not satisfied with a particular commodity or service. It is just because they want to experience, they want to taste different thing. For example, when you are eating out, when you are making decision for that, many times it happens that you want to change, that today we have had this, maybe after a week when we are going to have going to eat out in the restaurants, maybe I will try another restaurant for different tastes, for different flavors. Now we will discuss of different kinds of buying motives, because buying motives are the stimuli which stimulates the consumer to buy a particular product, right. According to Professor D.J. Duncan, buying motives are those influences or considerations which provide the impulses to buy, induce action and determine choice in the purchase of goods and services. So motives can be product buying motive or maybe patronage buying motives. So product buying motives again can be categorized into emotional product buying motives and rational product buying motives, and patronage buying motives also can be categorized into emotional patronage buying motives and rational patronage buying motives. Let us first see what is product buying motives. So product buying motives refer to those influences and reasons which induce a buyer to choose a particular product over the other product. Your product is such, the offering is such that it is chosen, it is preferred over the other. And they include the physical attraction of the product, that is the design, shape, dimension, size, color, package, performance of the product or offering, and maybe their price, the competitive prices that they are offering, the psychological attraction of the product, that is the enhancement of the social prestige or status of the purchaser through its possession. Suppose you want to emulate someone and you are seeing that that particular person is buying a particular commodity. Just to emulate, you may also go and buy that particular commodity, right? As I said, that product buying motives can be emotional product motives and can be rational product motives. The emotional product motives, the reasons for the emotional product motives may be the pride or prestige, if you want to show that, or maybe emulation or imitation, as I discussed, maybe affection for a particular brand, comfort a particular offering is providing you, the desire for distinctiveness, you want to be distinct in the society, you want to be different in the society, that is why you are buying a particular product, or maybe desire for recreation or pleasure, or maybe habit. So likewise, there are various attributes of product on the basis of it, or the attributes of product itself, they are inducing you, the customer, or motivating the customer to buy. And then rational product motives behavior, I would say, or motive. So reasons for rational product motives are safety or security. You want to ensure safety or security, so you are going for a particular commodity. For insurance, life insurance, for example, life insurance, or maybe a particular lock and key or safes which you are using in your house. And then you want to see the economy when you are using it. So if the commodity involves the usage cost, say for example, you are using a car or maybe motorcycle, right? So when you are using it, you have to incur costs. So you will buy that particular commodity which is incurring less cost, which gives you economy. And then the prices, suppose the prices of a particular offering is relatively lower than the other, then that gives you motive to buy it. And then suitability, utility or versatility, durability of a particular commodity, right, and convenience. That is why they are called rational product motives. So they have valid reasons, they have rational reasons for you, to buy it, and through their rational reasons they are convincing you, or they are stimulating the customer to buy it. And then comes patronage buying motives, the reasons of buyers buying from a particular shop, maybe that is can be seen as a patronage buying motive. Sometimes the consumers prefer to buy from a particular shop only, and there can be various reasons. Even those reasons can be categorized into two parts. One is emotional patronage buying motives and the other is rational patronage buying motives. For the emotional patronage buying motives, you would see there can be various reasons, such as the appearance of the shop is such that you like it and you want to go there again and again. Maybe the display style of the shop, is something that you actually like and you want to go there because you find it easier to pick things. Recommendation from near and dear ones, the people who are very close to you, they are recommending you, that they are satisfied and they are recommending you, and that is why you also want to go to that particular shop only. Or maybe imitation, again you want to imitate someone, you want to be like someone, and if he or she is buying from a particular shop, you will prefer to go that shop only. That likewise prestige or maybe habit. And then the other thing is rational patronage buying motive, such as convenience. It is that shop or that location is very convenient to you, that is why you prefer to take your commodity from there or from that particular shop or store. Maybe the store is offering you the lower price, it offers the credit facilities that attracts you to go, or the kinds of services that that particular store or shop is offering. The efficiency of the salesman, even they are so good in establishing a kind of relationship with you that you always want to go to that particular shop or store. Or maybe that store is providing you wide range of choices, or maybe the reputation of shop. So likewise there are certain rational reasons also which influence a buyer to buy from a particular shop or store. So now in this session we have seen that when we are going to make a purchase decision, there are various things which influences us. There are various stimuli. Those stimuli can be internal stimuli and external stimuli. The buying process begins with the discovery and recognition of an unsatisfied need or want. Again I would say that intense need, and it becomes a drive. Then consumer begins search for information. This search gives rise to various decisions, and finally the purchaser evaluates those alternatives and the purchase decision is made. Then the buyer evaluates the purchases and decides whether he is satisfied or he is not satisfied, or whether he is happy or not happy. So majorly we have seen that 4 types of buying decision behavior are portrayed by the customers. The complex buying behavior, that was for expensive and durable goods. which involves lots of researches, dissonance reducing buying behavior, where the products are very closely, the differentiation is so close that you are finding it difficult to decide, and then the habitual buying behavior, which involve a very little involvement, and variety seeking buying behavior, where the customer wants to change the brand, to switch the brand for different exposure. So as a marketer, you have to take care of all these aspects. You have to understand all these things so as you can cater to your customers in a proper manner, and you can have delighted customer in your business. So this is the end of this discussion today. See you next session. Happy learning.